Hi, I'm Dr. Krishan Ramya, the founder and director of Thrive Chiropractic, and I'm the principal chiropractor there. And in the last 14 years of my wellness experience, and particularly in the last 8 years, the last 50,000 patient visits, we've noticed some patterns about what really makes people well and what hinders that. And so we'd like to try and share with you some of our perspective and some of the experience we've had in working with lots of people. So what we've noticed is a lot of people who come into our practice, a lot of the people we're meeting right now, want more energy. They want to feel like as they're getting older, they can take on more. They want to feel like I don't have to, reduce my life or be able to handle less as I get older or just generally. And I'd like that feeling of, what more is possible for me as opposed to less being possible. And what we noticed, and maybe this has been the case for you, we've noticed people have been saying things to us, and maybe you have too, like, have you ever felt like, you wake up in the morning and you haven't got energy, so you're kind of waking up tired? Or have you ever felt like, throughout the day, your brain gets a bit foggy, or you can't focus, or you don't feel as productive, or you kind of get through the day, you felt very busy, but you can't really say concretely what you achieved? Or have you ever felt like you need more space and time but feel bad to ask for it, or that there's more inside you, there's more you want to do, but you can't quite bring it out? Or very simply that you want to be able to do more than your body will physically let you do. Well, we've noticed all of those things in practice, and actually I've experienced a lot of those things myself. So what brought me this way was, I've been overweight and underconfident. I've had a speech impediment and dyslexia. I've I've had 2 herniations in my spine, so chronic low back pain. And whilst I knew my body could heal, like I always believed, I was looking after it as exercising and doing yoga and eating well, my body wasn't healing, and I couldn't quite understand why. And that really led me on a search to find out, there's got to be something somewhere that can help my body to heal itself. Like that, the same way we heal a broken bone into something solid, we can take liquid blood and turn it into a solid bone. I thought my body should be able to heal these. And this is what led me to really study in depth about the nervous system and to find the mentors and the mentors along the way who taught me what it is I know today and how it is I practice. So I want to share with you now some of that perspective. And the key thing I've learned that I want to get across to you in this video is we have stress all wrong. And what I mean by that is we've all been taught to think that stress is harmful. And whilst it can be, we actually need it. If we don't get enough physical stress, like if you send an astronaut into space where they don't have gravity, not only does their body get weaker, so their muscles and bones, but they actually age, meaning they come back older, they chronologically age more quickly than they should. If we don't get enough mental and emotional stress, we don't bring the best out of ourselves. And perhaps you've noticed, if you have a time deadline, then all of a sudden your productivity increases, or if you know you're going away on holiday, that week everything that needs to happen happens. So we human beings thrive on mental and emotional stress. We thrive on a target to work towards, to achieve it. And we also thrive on a little bit of environmental chemical stress, like it keeps our immune system a little bit on edge. So when we don't have enough mental and emotional stress, and this can happen when people retire, we've all seen people doing great, and then they retire and then their health crashes. So the first thing is that we need stress. It actually helps keep us well, and if used well, which we'll talk about in a second, it can actually help bring the best out of us. It can actually help us rise to a challenge, because human beings and the human nervous system thrives, if perhaps more than anything, thrives on progress. The sense of I can do it and I can do more. So the first piece is that we think of stress. Stress is actually very multifactorial. It's not just being at work with a big pile of things to do and not enough time. It's actually, there's a physical component, so falling, tripping, sitting down too much, being in car accidents. There's a chemical component about what we eat and drink and breathe. There's a mental, emotional component we mentioned. And there's also, I think, like an electromagnetic component. So I think we're going to notice that some of the harmful effects of Wi-Fi and mobile phones more as we move forward. So the first piece to understand is stress has got many dimensions. It's not just one simple thing. The other thing to know is that our brain is about 2 million years old, which means it was designed to deal with stress a bit like fighting a tiger, fight or flight. And if the stress level gets too high, freeze. But the problem is, how do we run from, say, the threat of terror on the news, or how do we run from the emotional stress of losing a loved one or a relationship dispute, or how do we run away from feeling like I'm in a meeting and I need to speak up, but they're not going to like what I have to say, and that kind of angst. And the fact is, we can't run away, we can't fight those things. Our brain is telling us to do something that no longer matches our environment. And one of the ways we know this is happening, and we know this when we meet each other, is because it changes our posture. And if you keep watching this video series, we'll do a whole video on posture later, but essentially our posture reflects that fight or flight. So this is obviously a bit more extreme, where the body will either bend one way or the other way. And what I've learned in my training and what I've learned in my clinical practice is it's possible to upgrade this mechanism. It's possible to upgrade the way the brain and the nervous system handle stress. Like, it's possible to say, if my stress handling capacity is here, it's possible that it can increase to here, and we call that coherence. Like, it's possible to increase the level of coherence in your nervous system. So it doesn't matter what age someone is, if they're living and breathing, the nervous system essentially never stops learning. The brain is always able to rewire and learn. Like, some studies have shown even into people's 90s, the brain will still learn and rewire. So that's basically what I want to get across to you today, is that yes, you can feel stress. We actually need it to help us not only feel alive, but like we're thriving and have the ability to take on more and bring more out of us. But it's also possible to upgrade our ability to deal with it, because as we have experienced, if stress gets chronic, if it lasts too long, our health can suffer, our heart can suffer, our immune system can suffer, etc., etc. Some of the common things you may have seen and noticed is when people go on holiday, they either get sick on holiday or they come back and get sick afterwards. Because they go away, stress levels drop, the immune system comes back online and we get sick. Or if you notice, people, when they get older, they start to put on weight, typically around their arms, their midriff and their legs and their backside, because when we get stressed and we have to fight or flight, those are the parts of our body we're using the most to either fight or run away. So some of the objectives I hear with people are, is this possible for me? And from my clinical experience, which is now 50,000 patient visits plus in our practice, having worked with people from all walks of life, of all ages, from newborn children all the way up to people in their 90s, it would appear that the human nervous system is ready to learn and adapt at any time, as long as the individual is willing. So the main thing is, if someone's willing, they can learn how to deal with stress in a different way, and they can even upgrade how they deal with stress, which means they can take on more, which might mean more energy, it might mean I can handle more things, it might mean I've got more freedom in my body, or I can manage my time more effectively, I can become more productive, whatever it is for the individual. So I'd like to give you a little challenge now, which is just something I want you to play with for yourself and something to practice that I think will help how your body deals with stress. So it's really simple. I want to teach you 3 different breath patterns, and I say breath patterns because we use our breath for different things at different times. So the first is to breathe in the nose, out the mouth, because when we do that, the body calms down. So that's to be used, maybe in the morning or before you go to sleep, or if you're at work in a stressful situation and you want to calm down. So I just want you to play with these. In the nose, out the mouth will calm you down. The second is to breathe in the nose and out the nose. And that, you can tell just from how it sounds, and maybe just observing my body and its posture, starts to build energy, build focus. You'll notice that if you've gone to lift anything heavy or to move anything, that's typically how we breathe. And we get ready to exert ourselves. But it's also great for focus, concentration, just that feeling of I've got some inner strength I can rely on. The third is to breathe in the mouth, out the nose. And that you can do at the end of the day. That's to relax, let your body expand a bit more. It can be great before you do a meditation, or if you just want to feel a bit more open. So 3 different breath patterns that I'd like you to play with is, one is to breathe in the nose, out the mouth, to calm everything down. The second is to breathe in the nose, out the nose, when you want to build up or have more strength or more determination. And the last one is to breathe in the mouth, out the nose, when you want to expand, open up, maybe relax, unwind at the end of the day. I hope you found this useful. I'd love it if you'd share it with your friend or anyone you know who would benefit. If you have any questions or anything about what we've said, our contact information is below. We'd love to hear from you. And until then, enjoy this. Think about stress differently. Think about how it might be affecting you. And I look forward to sharing more with you in our next video. Bye for now.